What about the Ark of the Covenant? The Bible says in Jeremiah that they took the spoons, the cups, the basins, the candles. It names all kinds of small things that were taken captive out of Israel. Then in Ezra, when they're bringing the stuff back, it mentions all the small stuff they brought, the knives, the silverware. Why wouldn't it mention the Ark of the Covenant? Well, in the book of Chronicles, it says Uzziah had prepared great machines and slings to sling stones, huge catapults, engines, cunning engines built by smart guys, were up on the walls to fling stones. They built all kinds of catapults, and you're going to attack that city, you're going to have a rock hit you on the head, kind of stuff, all right? Well, Nebuchadnezzar wanted to besiege Jerusalem and take over the city, but he didn't want his soldiers getting hit by those rocks. So they calculated how far the rocks could go and built a wall outside the range of those catapults. We're going to build a wall all the way around the city, and we're going to starve them out. The siege had begun. And you can read all about that in all the book of, in the Old Testament about the siege around Jerusalem. Well, Jeremiah had said, the nation and kingdom that will not serve the same Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babylon, that nation will I punish. God told Jeremiah, go tell everybody in the city, surrender. I want these guys to win. You have been evil, you are wicked, and this is your punishment. Don't fight them. Go with them. Be their slaves. The king said, no, we're going to fight them. And they got slaughtered, okay? Wiped out. Well, Jeremiah knew they were going to lose because God had told him you're going to lose. So apparently Jeremiah took the Ark of the Covenant and the temple furniture from the temple outside the city. There's a tunnel called Jeremiah's Passageway that's caved in several spots. Richard Reeves, who worked with Ron Wyatt, has been working on this for years, digging out this tunnel. Some places are still open. But there's all kinds of tunnels under Jerusalem. I mean, there's another city under that city. Okay? And who knows what hasn't been discovered. But apparently they took the Ark of the Covenant and all this temple furniture outside the city wall, but inside the siege wall. Well, if you look at where that arrow is pointing, that is Golgotha, the place where Jesus was crucified. The garden tomb is right there. I was there a couple years ago. I'm going again in the spring back to Jerusalem. Oh, it's incredible. If you get a chance to go to the Holy Land, get over there. It's called the Place of the Skull. Jeremiah's grotto is now a place where they store bananas. A couple of Muslims own it, and they store fruit there to sell. But apparently in Jeremiah's grotto, all this, you can see it there, Place of the Skull, where they stoned Stephen, the garden tomb, the Gordon's Calvary. Jesus was crucified right there. He was buried just a short distance away in the tomb, and we get into more later on the crucifixion. But Ron was digging in that area, Ron Wyatt, who died in '99, and you can get all of his discoveries from our ministry. There's only, I think, 2 people that sell his DVDs, him and us. $100 for his DVD series. It's phenomenal. If you want to watch, there's what, probably 5 DVDs, I think. Yeah. If you want to get all of Ron Wyatt's discoveries, you can see more about this. Just contact our ministry, $100 and get it. But Ron said he was digging outside there in Jeremiah's grotto area, and they found the crucifixion site. He covers it all on the DVDs. And they found this little cave. I had a Muslim friend working with him, helping him dig dirt. He just paid this guy, Arab, to dig. He was squeezing down in this little hole, digging around, and he came out screaming, I quit, and left. So Ron went in there, and according to Ron, I talked to him for hours about it. And he said, Brother Hovind, if you told me this story, I wouldn't believe you, but it happened to me, and I know that all liars have their part in the lake of fire. I knew Ron personally. I think he was a good man. If I was God, I would let him find this kind of stuff because he wasn't looking for glory. He was looking to glorify God. Ron said he squeezed down in this little hole, and there's a little cave about 4 feet high, and he saw several things in there. As he looked around with his flashlight, he found, for instance, the table of showbread. The golden table that the Jews had built 3,000 years ago. Jeremiah hid that stuff in there, built a false wall in front of it. And there's this concrete box, like a concrete, but it's actually a rock, hollowed out. And when the lid was broken, according to Ron, he went over there and he looked at this lid, and he couldn't see in it because the ceiling's too short. But all over this lid was a black stuff like dried ketchup. It turned out to be dried blood, according to Ron. Right above the crack in the lid was a crack in the ceiling of this little short cave. That crack in the ceiling went all the way up to where Jesus was crucified, 20 feet straight up through solid rock. All this is according to Ron. I've never seen that. But there's other folks who say, yep, that's correct. I mean, I don't know, but it preaches good, at least. Apparently, Jesus died on the cross, and his blood ran right down onto the mercy seat, which is where the blood was supposed to go when there was a sacrifice. Because Jeremiah had stuck it there 600 years earlier. And the blood ran right down into the mercy seat. Now Uzzah put forth his hand and touched the ark, and God killed him. So when Ron told the Jewish authorities, hey, here's your ark, they said, oh, we're not going to touch that. It's still there, waiting for the new temple to be built. Then they're going to get it out and put it in the temple. So you can go to WyattMuseum.com and talk to Richard. He'll just say, Richard will say, I don't know, this is what Ron said. And that's best I can do too.